ColourPop and Stranger Things, did they give us the collab we've been dreaming of? Hey y'all, it's Heather, and I'm so excited because I bought the entire ColourPop Stranger Things collection. I've been out of town for the past week. I got home on Sunday night. Monday night, I was at Ulta. I was buying the full collection. We are talking this fun, cool, colorful with neutrals, interesting palette. We also have lip gloss trio. We're gonna lip swatch it. We're gonna eye swatch the eyeshadow palette. I've got a lip mask. I've got liquid shadows from ColourPop. I'm pumped about that. And what else do we have? Blush and liquid highlighter. Like, we're gonna talk about everything. I cannot wait. Let's jump into it. This collaboration is available on the ColourPop site, and it's also available at Ulta. I bought everything at Ulta, and we will start off by talking about this lip mask because it tastes like Eggo, and I think that's so fun. I mean, technically it's a waffle lip mask, not the Eggo brand, but this is so cute. I'm wearing everything we're going to talk about today. This is my first impression. I'm wearing it for the first time today, but I really like this. I just think it's adorable. I think it's so adorable that they made it look like a waffle. Genius. If you've never seen the show before, you might not get the references, but this 11, one of the main characters, loves Eggo waffles, so this makes so much sense to me. We also have a Byers Natural Matte Finish Blush, and this is one of those pH color changing blushes where when you look at it in the pan, it looks very dark. It almost looks like a black blush that kind of goes with the upside down, but when I put it on my face in a very sheer layer, you almost can't see it. It's just a very, very light touch of pink. And then when I add on a second layer with a brush, kind of built it up, you can see it's kind of this pinky purple shade. This is one of those like kind of fun gimmicky products, but also like it is a little fun to like pull out a black blush and see it transform on your cheeks. Not a new concept, but definitely something a little fun. Then we have the Hawkins Milk. This is a liquid highlighter. This is a really fun color. These are their liquid glow drops, and I think, you know, you can put them on sheer like I did at first. You can build them up. I like to use different methods when I'm testing products, and I've never tried the liquid light glow drops from ColourPop, so this is a new formula to me. I have tried some other things from the brand, lots of things from the brand, but this is a formula that is all new to me. I think they killed it with the packaging, put it in a little milk box saying, "Have you seen me?" And I'm excited to play with these more. I wore them like a liquid highlighter today. You can see after I set with powder, it's not super intense, but I do look forward to using it more. I want to try it over powder. I want to try it mixed with other products. Like, I want to try it different ways, but my first impression is that it's looking okay. It's not super beaming or anything, but it does look nice. We also have an ultra glossy lip trio called Talk to Me, and it is like the light bulbs with the alphabet. So when Joy was trying to like, it's just freaking adorable. I think it's so cute when she was trying to communicate with Will. So we have the shades Where Are You, Right Here, and Run. So these are very sheer. They do have a little bit of sparkle to them. When I did these lip swatches, I just put them on my bare lips. Of course, right now I'm wearing it with a lip liner. I will list that and everything that I can down in the description box, because you can get this collection as a full collection, or you can purchase the items individually, or maybe you don't want it at all and you just want to be entertained, and hopefully I'm doing that for you. But I really think these are cute. It's more of like for the aesthetic, because they are all very, very, very sheer, borderline clear glosses. We do have the ColourPop Stranger Things eyeshadow palette. I'm always most excited for the eyeshadow palette. So we will be doing live hand swatches. We will be doing live eye swatches with a brush and with a finger. You know how I do. If you're not new here, you know I love doing palettes that way. But we are going to start by eye swatching the Monster Chrome Liquid Shadow Duo. I love how we have the ugly Stranger Things monster here. I'm not trying to offend him by saying he's ugly, but he needs to know, you know? So we are going to eye swatch these first. I'm going to zoom you in. We're going to swatch them both on the hand and the eyes. If you've never been here for my eye swatches before, we're going to have a good time. Let me zoom you in. I've got you zoomed in a bit so we can do the hand swatches, and then I will zoom you in even closer for the eye swatches. My eyes are a little puffy. They're not irritated. I've flown from Memphis to California, from California to Georgia, from Georgia to Memphis, all in a few days, and I have texture on my skin. It just happens. My skin does not like traveling in airplanes and things like being messed up. It just doesn't. So if you see some puffiness in my eyes, don't worry, it will go down. My lids are perfectly fine. We are going to swatch first the shade Humanoid. And I know ColourPop has had these like multi-chrome liquid shadows, and we're gonna try them. I've never worn them on the eyes. There is the shade Humanoid, and I'm really going to wrap it, and you'll kind of be able to see when I hold the mirror up. There's Humanoid. Okay, it feels very smooth. I do have oily lids, I do have deep set eyes, so sometimes like a liquid shadow has to be amazing for it not to crease on me and not to fade away, because like, do you see all the folds I have in my eyes? It's a lot. So we're swatching this shade right there. They do look like they have some really pretty sparkle. The second shade is called Interdimensional. We're gonna start with Interdimensional. I do have an eyeshadow primer on. Again, my eyelids require it. If you don't like to use eyeshadow primer, you do you. But I like to use these shadows in the way that I normally would. I don't want to like set them up for failure by not using an eyeshadow primer, and I never skip eyeshadow base. So let's see what we can do first, just with our liquid shadow. So I'm going to just kind of use this applicator before I go in with the brush. With these eye swatches, I do like to take the shadow up kind of high, because my goal is that you will see how pigmented the shadows are, how easy they are to blend, things like that. And it's not necessarily me creating an eye look so much as it is me showing you how it performs. There is what that shadow is looking like just from the applicator onto my eye. Maybe I need a second layer, so I'm gonna add that and I'm gonna buff with my brush. I think I just need a little more product to get it nice and opaque and intense. So now that that has had a second to dry, I'm just gonna touch it up. And I'll grab a brush and see if I can buff out the edges in case you just want to use these liquid shadows as a one and done look. You know, you don't want to have to pull in anything else. I think that's looking nice. I don't have the best eye shape for showing on camera the shifts in the shadow in a mirror, but I do know that that is a method that can be helpful, and I've used it before. So I just wanted to hold the mirror up so you can kind of look from my eyes to the mirror. If you are used to independently owned brands liquid shadows and the multi-chrome effect and how intensely they shift, you're not going to be super impressed by these. But I do think it's pretty. I do think there is a little bit of a shift there if you really hold it right. If the lights are just right, you're gonna see more of that shift. It's definitely there. It's just not that intensity, you know? So you can see some of that sparkle. I'm gonna try to like tap out any crease. And there you have that shade. Let's swatch Humanoid. And I put down my eyeshadow primer, and for some reason I wasn't thinking, and I put some Nerds candy in my mouth, and yeah, I need to put this shadow down though. So not my most thoughtful or demure moment, you know. There is the eye swatch of that liquid shadow. I'm gonna add just a little bit more because I do feel like it should be a little more intense, and we'll see. We'll see if I can blend it out with my brush. This shade is definitely like a purpley green. I do feel that it pulls a little more neutral than this over here. I really don't like the way this is feeling on my eye, and as I'm feeling it, I'm thinking, I actually did try a liquid multi-chrome from ColourPop. These just have way more sparkle than those, and I remember that I did not like those. So I believe this is a different formula because the other ones did not have this sparkle, but I am telling you, like, I can feel this. I can feel this on my eye. It feels like cement. And you may be thinking, like, Heather, it's because you had to go in with too much product. You have to wear it very sheer. But I'm telling you, like, I don't want a sheer multi-chrome. What is that? This, like, it feels like it kind of, like, hurts. Not hurts. Hurts is a strong word. It is very negative feeling. Like it feels tight and heavy on my lid. Okay, let me show you this one because I'm kind of ready to get this off my eyes. You can definitely see more of the shift here, like if you look from the mirror to my eyes. And like this would definitely be more neutral, like maybe keep it in a much smaller area. But like, when I touch it, it feels dry. It doesn't feel nice. Wow. Okay. You know what? I'm actually gonna make myself wear these for a few minutes before I take them off. That way, at the end of the video, I can kind of give you like an actual, like, you know, like maybe like, I don't know, like maybe they will warm up, but like, do you see? Like, look when I open my eye, I can feel like right here it's kind of emphasizing these little lines. I mean, I am 37. I do have some wrinkles and crinkles. I have oily skin. I live in a very humid place. Like, I am happy with the wrinkles and crinkles I do have. Like, thank you, Dad, for the genetics. But, like, this is kind of emphasizing them. Okay, so far in the collection, I have liked all the other stuff. But these... oh, they are taking me back to the day I tried that liquid multi-chrome. That's not this. These are sparkly. It should be different, but like, oh, it feels bad. All right, y'all, we are going to be hand and eye swatching our Stranger Things palette. This is what it looks like on the inside. We have this really cool color story, and I have to tell you, I'm so upset with myself because I like to make these videos great for y'all. I don't like to mess up. I like to like be myself and have fun, but I don't like when I do things like forgetting to turn my mic on when I do the first 4 eye swatches. So what I'm going to do is hand swatch these 4 shades, and then I'm going to put them on the eyes. I'm gonna eye swatch them for you, but I'm just going to talk. You're gonna see my words aren't gonna match my mouth because I didn't know my mic was not on. I'm the worst, I know. Let's swatch this shade right here called Waffle Thief. There it is on my hand, just like this right here. I'm gonna swatch the shade 1983 right here. I'm going to swatch the shade 11, this pale pink shade right here. And then last but not least, I have Chief of Police. We'll put that one right there. So let me kind of tell you about these shades. I'm gonna swatch the shade 11 first, and I'm gonna swatch the shade Chief of Police alongside it. I like to put down my eyeshadow primer. I like to swatch with my fingers. So I put those shades on. I can't believe I did this. I put the shades on with my finger, and then I go in with a brush and I buff. I want you to be able to see how 11 blends and buffs, and also how it's on the lid. The same with Chief of Police. I like to do my fingers and a brush. You can see how the shades look. And then again, I'm going to do the shade Waffle Thief, and I'm going to do the shade 1983. Waffle Thief is a really pretty yellow. It's not like a crayon yellow. It has a little bit of depth and murkiness to it. And the shade 1983 is like ColourPop's version of a pressed glitter. I don't know if these shades are considered eye safe. I don't know. Always check a website. Always check a website. I personally don't care. I feel like the United States, like they're behind the EU, all of that. Like, we know this. So you do what you will. You follow what your heart tells you and what the ColourPop website tells you. And again, I apologize for not turning my mic on, but the mic is on now, and we're going to swatch the next 4 shadows at this row right here. And you can hear me. I'm so sorry about that. Like, I'm so angry with myself, but I know, like, I did the eye swatches and I don't want to have to redo them. I want to be able to do all these eye swatches for you today. Here's the shade Gone Missing. ColourPop does beautiful metallics. This is the shade Hawkins. Ew, I love a red. Like, look at that orangey bronze and that red next to each other. This is Castle Buyers. Castle Buyers. If you love the show, let me know. Look at that color. That's a good color. I love shades like that, like green shades. So last but not least, what do we have? Oh, D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. So this is a pretty warm brown. I'll put that right there. See, this shade with the matte yellow or with like Chief of Police, stunning. That will be stunning. Here is Gone missing with my finger. Isn't that stunning? Wow, it really is. Let me make sure I don't have any creases in my eyeshadow primer, and we will do Hawkins with my finger. Cute! Let me grab a brush. I know a lot of you like to use your fingers. That's why I like to show you with the finger. I prefer a brush, so I want to show you both ways. And I like to blend these shadows up much higher than necessary so that you can really see the blend, the intensity, all of that. And look how cute Hawkins is. I feel like red makes every single eye color pop. Okay. I love ColourPop. I have a full face of ColourPop video. I'll link up here for you so that you can check it out if you want to see. I have lots of ColourPop videos here on my channel, but it's been a while since I've just done a full ColourPop video like this. I'm gonna buff in Gone Missing over here. Look at how like metallic that is. I really, really like the way this shadow looks. And you see like how it looks packed on. You see I'm taking it up high because like why not? That's a cool, fun color. Oh, I know, like it's not a blend. It's not an eye look I'm gonna wear. I would pull in other things, but I had to pull it up high because like I love these shades. Let's do D&D. I love me a good mid-tone brown. Really do. I know it's such like a basic shade, but it works, you know, like what can I say? I feel like this is a good neutral brown. I don't know that it is overly warm or overly cool. Somewhere kind of right in the middle. It may, you know, like be a good blendy color for you depending on your skin tone. It may be a good like outer corner shade for you. It just depends. I mean, I have a olive warm leaning skin tone, so you can tell that on me, this is very neutral. It is not a warm tone shade. It's just really nice, and that's blending nice. It's going on nice, and I don't think you can see. No, over here. You'll see when I zoom out that my husband just came home. My parents came over a little bit, and my husband brought me some beautiful flowers. Yeah, let me show you. Are those not freaking stunning? They're stunning. So it's a little different, but anyways, back to the swatches. Tassel buyers. All you gotta do is give me a green. All you gotta do is give me a green, and I am happy. So let me show you how beautiful this is. There is a gorgeous, gorgeous finish to this shadow. In fact, buff the brown like this, put this all over the lid. Whoops, wrong side of the brush. And that would be beautiful as a look on its own. There you go. If you're looking at this palette and you're like, what am I gonna do? Of course I'm gonna show you a tutorial. But these two shades together, just look. You see how they look so pretty, like paired together? You see it. I see it, so I know you see it. I've been really impressed with the top half of the palette, so we are gonna swatch these 4 shades right here. So here we have Hungry for Blood. Oh, hello, Silver. And we have Alien Vines. I think this might be a favorite shade. Look at that. So I recently was hanging out with Hot Mess Tom here on YouTube, but they were wearing a shadow that was like taupey, something, I don't know, something like this. Not this, but this kind of reminds me of it. And I was saying like, I need to shop my stash and find a color like that, because we have like a somewhat similar eye color and their eyes were just popping. So I'm excited to put that on my eye and see like how that looks. But let me go ahead and swatch the shade right here called The Gate, and then what I have a pinky clean here called Demi Gordon. Oh, that is these 4 colors right here. Listen, you're like, I don't know what to do with the palette. What can I do with the palette? These 4 colors. Put this in your socket. Put this in the outer corner in the lower lash line. Put this on the lid. Put this on the inner corner. Mascara, done. Done. There's a look. That is stunning. I'm gonna put on Hungry for Blood right here. And honestly, I may not even use a brush. Sometimes if I feel like I'm getting my finger at just the right angle, I won't use a brush with these eye swatches, and I feel like I'm able to kind of go on with this shadow with just my finger, and you can see, hello, silver. That is pretty. That is not the most intense silver I have in my collection, but I like different things for different reasons, you know? Like, I just can't get it in my inner corner right here. My eyes are too deep set. You know, it's not like my fingernails, they're not that long. It's just the nature of my eye shape. But do you see? I'm like, hold on. Let me sit up straight and stop leaning back so you can see. That silver is really, really pretty. Like, just this, and take a matte shade and just like dust out the outer corner and the lower lash line. Like, can you tell I'm feeling inspired? Let's do Alien Vines. Alien Vines. Wow. It is definitely like a blackened gray. It is. But I'm also feeling there's just something special to it. I'm going to tap it on with my finger, and I'm going to kind of pull it up a bit because I want you to kind of see like the possibilities, you know? Like, I'm into it. Like, listen, you already know what I'm going to say. I'm into it. I am into it, y'all. And I like that we have like the light version, the dark version. I'm into it. I kind of wiped off what I had on my lips, and I want to do a different lip color in a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and put on a little bit of this waffle lip mask. So I'm just kind of putting that on. It honestly smells like Eggos. It smells like Eggos for sure. It's so cute. So I'm gonna keep using that. But I just wanted to show y'all. I kind of did off on my lips, and I put this on, and it's clear. It's not tinted. It's not overly glossy. Like, it's just hydrating. Here is the Gate, kind of tapped on with my finger. And here is Demigorgon, just kind of tapped on with my finger. I know some people like to apply matte shadows with their finger, so that's why I like to tap it on this way. With this type of deeper shadow on my eyes, on my skin tone, I kind of like to press first like this to kind of make sure I'm getting the pigment right off my brush, and then I can kind of go and I can blend. So you can see we're not having any patchiness. I'm not having any issues blending. I'm just really kind of fluffing that shadow on, and it's looking cute. Gonna put this red Demigorgon shade on. Again, I'm gonna use the tapping motions, and then I can kind of buff a bit, but just pressing on first, and then blend, blend, blend. So I'm not really using the best brush for the blend, but you can see that it's not skipping or anything, just really, really cute. We are down to the last 4 shades. This is a beautiful palette. I really love the 16 pan format from ColourPop. So we're gonna swatch these beautiful like blue and black cool tone. Here we have the Upside Down. This is another one of those like almost glittery type shadows that was very similar to 1983 from the top. So it doesn't feel chunky or anything like that. And so far I have not felt a super shock formula in this palette, which I didn't read the shade descriptions of these or anything like that on the ColourPop site before buying it. So I didn't really know exactly what to expect. But this next shade is called Alternate Dimension, and I think I'll put this right here. A really pretty kind of like blue gray like duochrome type color. Next I have Mind. Listen, I've watched all the seasons of the show, so I am in it we'll put that right here. A beautiful kind of blackened navy, like a navy with kind of a black base to it. And then last we have the Void, which is a matte black shadow. Mattes aren't the funnest to swatch, but why not just put that right there? Ooh, okay, all right, we are in it. We are in the last 4 shades, and you know, I have thoughts, but I'm gonna wait to share them at the end. I mean, I've been sharing them as we go, but like, I'm excited. The upside down, let's do it. Oh, you see that sparkle? You see that sparkle? I'm just gonna go with the finger on this one. I'm just, very interesting, very, like, has good base pigment to it with also having some sparkle. Alternate dimension right here. This one I'm just going to lightly press on with my brush. Make sure I cover that lid so that you can see kind of that blue gray type of color. I think this is really nice. And in fact, when we get in the comparisons, you'll see that MAC kind of had a similar color in their Stranger Things. I'm so into it. I'm gonna put the shade Have Mind right here. This beautiful blue color. And I don't think I'm gonna need a brush. I'm just gonna make sure I have enough shadow on my hand. And I'm going to kind of press it, and then lightly kind of blend, because this is a really pretty kind of blue metallic shade. And you can see the intensity of the shadow when I use my finger like that. Here is the Void, this black intense shadow. Do you see how intense and dark that shadow is? A very pretty black color. Like, no patchiness, no issues, nothing like that. I want to grab my MAC Stranger Things collection and show you some comparisons. Here are the MAC lip glosses. MAC did the Stranger Things collection, and they did it in a way where it was like 2 mini collections. One side Hawkins, one side the upside down. So you had the lip glosses that look like this, and you had the palette that looked like this. So you had Hawkins. There was also a blush. I do have that in my collection too, but the packaging is the same. It's the same as this palette packaging, and you have the red lip. So I really think that ColourPop kind of took it in a different direction, which is fun, because if you are a collector like me and you have these things, you know, you can get a different vibe. It's not like you're buying something that's so similar to what you already have. The lip glosses being like the lights and being more focused on like Joy and Will, like very different, whereas this is like Hawkins in the upside down. I think it's fun. I'm excited that I have both of these collections. So I want to show you, because this was a Stranger Things palette, you know, and you definitely have the top half, which is more warm, maybe more Hawkins, and then you have the bottom half, which is cooler in tone and maybe more like the upside down. So here was the MAC Hawkins Tigers, like almost like a yearbook. You have a little sheet inside, you have a nice mirror, and I'm gonna hold these up next to each other for you. I will also link this video for you. It's quite old, but I really had fun doing this like MAC collection video, so I'll link that for you if you want to check it out. But you can see the color stories are very different. Like, there's no vanilla shade here in the ColourPop. There's no kind of like bronzy color. I mean, this maybe is the most similar. This shade right here called Benny's Burger, and this shade down here called D&D. But this is a very warm shade. Here we even have like the shade here called 11. Over here we had the Starcourt Mall. This is definitely a deeper pink, more saturated, more of like a bubblegum pink. There's no like of this color blue. I mean, maybe you could say, like, let me move the blues closer together so that you can kind of see. They're definitely very different blues. This one a little bit brighter. I mean, definitely both have like the Stranger Things vibe, but we're not having like any dupes or similarities. MAC eyeshadow formula and ColourPop eyeshadow formula are very different as well. So I'm not talking about formulas, I'm just talking about shades. We get over here to the MAC Stranger Things, the upside down palette. We have this like crazy artwork, and then we're definitely going to have a deeper, darker, upside down color story. So showing you these side by side, we don't have any shades that are similar looking at these. I mean, again, maybe this or these, but really not. This is much more taupey and cool tone. We don't have anything that's like this green. Even the reds are very different. This is a matte. This is a metallic shimmer shade, and not even a metallic, I would say more a true shimmer. And then this is way deeper. We don't really have any green. We do have two navies. You can see this is much more blue navy in tone, and this is a little bit more of a black and gray navy. We do have matte blacks in both. This is a little bit more of a gray matte black though. It's not as saturated as this one. The shades that I do think you could see maybe are a little similar. This one is more of a blue to a gray, where this is more of a green blue to a brown. So kind of like a duochrome-esque that I thought of was similar in both palettes, but definitely different. So whereas MAC had the two 8-pan palettes to represent Hawkins and the upside down, you could pick your vibe. We do have like a palette that kind of represents the whole show here with this collection. So I wanted to go over that, even though that MAC Stranger Things collection isn't available. And actually, as I'm talking about it, it made me remember the MAC collection had brushes too. And while I don't use the other brush as much from the collection, I can't remember if there's one or two. I know I have it like over there, but this one, this stays near me. I love this. I use it all the time, and it was one of the Hawkins brushes. So the lip glosses, the blush, like it was a big collection, just like ColourPop's, and I had fun like pulling it out and thinking, if you missed that MAC collection and you're like, I've always wanted the Stranger Things makeup, I think you'd be really happy as far as like packaging and theming goes. So I'm happy that ColourPop brought this. I really am. I think it's fun. I will say the palette is like textured too. It's not just a flat print. Stranger Things is raised, ColourPop's is raised, and you have like the webbing. I can feel it. I can feel it spreading. So I appreciate that. You have the names on the back, but I do want to wipe off these eye swatches. I want to kind of like touch up my overall makeup, and I want to do a tutorial with y'all so that you can kind of get some inspiration. I'm thinking we'll do 1/2 Hawkins, 1/2 the upside down. So 2 looks in one. Let's start over here with Demogorgon, okay? I want to start with the Hawkins eye, and I want to use the red, which I know is kind of in the other half of the palette, the kind of upside down half. And I'm using a fluffy brush rather than a more dense small brush to put this on, because I do want to keep this shade a little bit on the lighter side. I don't want to keep it like intensely burgundy. I want to be able to fluff it around almost like I would use a dark brown. And since I'm not packing, it's going to be able to like blend out more and be a little softer. So I'm using this larger fluffy brush and just kind of pressing and then blending and blending way out here to help me get that blown out effect. See how it almost looks like a reddish brown on my eyes rather than a burgundy? That's exactly what I'm going for. So I'm just going to blend it out right out here. For the upside down, I'm going to use the same technique, but I'm going to use the matte shade, The Gate, which is this really gray matte color. And I'm going to do the same thing. And this shade on my skin tone is going to take a little more blending. I'm not going to be able to like blow it out and sheer it out as much because it's just not going to mesh as well, which is fine. I just want to make sure that I pick up a little more product and make sure that it's like there. It's there in my outer corner, whereas the warmth is going to mesh more with me. If you have cool tone, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to use a little more of this shadow over here, and you're going to have to use a little less over here. But with my warm, I'm gonna have to just use a little bit more and make sure I don't shear it out to get the same type of effect that I've got going on over here. So I'm doing a little more pressing and then blending than I did over here. Something you're gonna wanna do if you are planning to wear 2 different eye looks for the day like I am, is really be thoughtful as you're applying, because I have the tendency to like do both my eye looks and, you know, I'll go back and forth and kind of with the same brush, and you can't do that because you'll muddy up your shadows by using, you know, the wrong colors that you don't want in your looks. So if you're doing something like this, because yes, I do go out of house like this, like literally not a single person cares, and if they do, like what a weirdo. I've never seen somebody at Walmart and thought, wow, why did they wear that color eyeshadow today? Like literally nobody cares. I care, and that's why I'm doing my makeup. So I want to be mindful about the brushes that I'm bouncing back and forth between like this. Oh, okay, I'm getting the vibes, I'm getting the vibes. So we went with these 2 shades right here. Now we're gonna go in, I wanna pull in the shade 11 right here, over here for our Hawkins eye, and then over here for our upside down eye, I think I'll reach into this matte right here. I'm taking the shade 11 and I'm gonna run this right where I stopped blending that first matte shade. It's gonna bring in that pink, it's gonna soften things up. I'm using it on a small brush and I'm just going to buff along the edges like that. So we have that nice fade into the pink. Taking the brush, the same one, going into Chief of Police, and this is going to make things mesh a little bit better so that we're not going from the gray blue straight to my skin. We're just gonna have a little bit of this shade as a buffer. So back and forth, down and around, just adding a tiny touch of shadow to my brush as we go. My ear is itching for some reason, like, ugh. It's like itching, so it's turning red, and I'm sorry, I'm wearing a ponytail. There's nothing I can do to hide it. There's nothing I can do to hide it. See, did you see how I so easily wanted to go with the same brush and blend? But I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to be remembering that I'm working with different shades, and I'm gonna pick up the other brush and I'm gonna go back and pick up the other brush. It's just a habit to want to like bounce around. I'm taking the Void, the matte black, and here's where I can go to both eyes, because we're going to create some cohesion by keeping the outer corner of both eyes black with our matte, and then also down around under the lower lash line. But I'm using a fluffy brush so that I can really smoke it out. I'm gonna bring it kind of out like this, and same thing over here. This is where our looks are going to tie together, of course also with the placement of the rest of the shades in terms of shape, but this, having this matte black in the same place on both eyes, is going to work for us. I want to use this shade right here called, what is it, Gone Missing, and I want to use Alien Veins. So we're going to use that, and then I think we're actually going to touch on this shade up here called 1983. Right over here is where we're going to put that gray shade, because it's going to work with our upside down look. I'm taking that right here. I'm just gonna kind of put that all on my lid. And I did not show you, but let me show you kind of how I got it to look this beautiful. I'm taking my brush here. I'm gonna show you with this shade because I'm gonna do the same technique. I'm gonna go right into Gone Missing. I'm gonna make sure I have my brush covered in the shadow. You know, it's my palette. I don't need to just touch it. I can get it messy. That first spray didn't hit my brush, so I sprayed a second time, but you really only need 1 spray. And then I'm going to press. And then once I have the shadow pressed off my brush, then I will just blend it and I'll put it on, and it will give me that nice effect with a little fallout. And I really like the way these shades are working together. So I'm just going on like that. I'm not going to touch my palette again until my brush is dry. Since I just sprayed very little, it just hit the shadow. It didn't really saturate my brush, so I can jump into my palette again. But I'm going to go back with the brush that I used with that first matte color, and I'm just going to blend along the edges so I can make sure I don't have any of those harsh lines over here on our Hawkins-esque look. I want to use 1983 on the inner corner for both looks, just like we kept the outer corner the same for both looks to give a little bit of cohesion. That is exactly what it's going to do for us using the same inner corner shade. You definitely don't have to do this, but I do think it can be just like, it can be complementary to how they look together. Again, it's all about your personal preference, but since I'm going to be wearing this look out and about, I want to kind of have like some of those same elements. I want to pull in a little bit of the shade Hawkins, but I'm not going to use it on our Hawkins side. I'm going to use it on our Hawkins upside down side. And I'm going to spray my brush just like I did earlier. I just use a setting spray that I don't love. For this, I prefer ones that have a little bit of glycerin to help with that stick. But I'm just going to take that little bit of red under half of the lower lash line over here, and I'm going to buff that on to the black to give us that upside down, what's going on vibe. You know, like just a little touch right there of that red. I'm going to clean my brush off on my Sigma switch because I want to use the same brush. I really like this one, Nikki LaRose and BK Beauty. Nikki did a really good job with that. So I'm going to clean it off on my switch, and I'm going to go in with a different shade. So over here for the Hawkins, I want to put something underneath. I'm just not sure exactly what shade I want to go for. Maybe a little bit of this silver would be pretty, called Hungry for Blood. Once again, just sprayed my brush a little bit, and I will carry this right over. So you see how both the looks have like that depth to them, but this is like a little more sunny day is kind of what I was going for. A little brighter, whereas this is a little more dark of night, something like that, you know? I'm going to wrap up this look. I'm going to put on a lip color, I'm going to put on some eyeliner, and I'll be back to show you how it comes together. All right, y'all, here's my finished look. I don't know if I'm obsessed with the lash that I chose with this look, but we're going to roll with it. I have to say, if there's anything from this collection that I think like is my favorite, of course, I'm an eyeshadow palette girly, and the quality of this palette is great. See, I'm not loving this lash, but it's okay. We're gonna rock with it. I'm loving the palette though. I think it's beautiful. I love my two looks. I think they're so fun and fresh. I also really am happy with the highlighter and the lip mask. I think those are my top three things. The liquid shadows I would skip on. I'm happy I have them because I love the packaging and that will make me happy, but I'm never gonna wear those again. I'm never gonna wear those again. They're enough for me. The lip glosses, very cute. I'm happy I have those for the packaging. They're very sheer, they're very clear, but I will wear them. The blush is cute. Will I be reaching for it a ton? No. So my top three have got to be the lip mask, the liquid highlighter because I'm excited to play with it more, the palette, and then we'll say the gloss, and then we'll say the blush, and then we'll say the liquid shadows last. I hope you enjoyed. I love doing these eye swatches. I love reviewing new makeup. I'm gonna pop up some more videos here. So if you are curious, you wanna hang around, you wanna watch some new makeup videos, you wanna talk makeup with me, just check out some of these videos. I would love to talk about this collection down in the comments. Are you ready for the next season? Let me know.